It's no secret that I hated my high school history, economics, and government teacher. He was my history teacher in freshman year, my economics teacher in the first half of the senior year, and my government teacher in the second half of senior year. I've brought him up on several occasions, usually when I talk about teachers I had that I didn't like. Hell, I think I even made a video about him years and years ago, back when I was a freshman in high school. But there was one thing he did all the damn time that was a huge factor as to why I still consider him one of my least favorite teachers, and something that I think would make an interesting topic for one of these kinds of videos. When one student was goofing off, he would punish the entire fucking class. He would either assign us an essay that would be due the following day for homework, or he would just dump a bunch of work onto us for homework. It was so unfair because I would usually be quiet as a mouse in his classes. Because in freshman year, and especially senior year, I didn't really talk to anyone in his classes because I didn't know a lot of the students that were in the classes I had with him. So as a result, I didn't really interact with people all that much unless I had to, like say for group work. So there I am, a perfectly behaved student who doesn't talk all that much or disrupt his class at all, getting punished because some other dumbass decided to disrupt the class. I really wish teachers would stop doing this shit. He wasn't the only teacher I had that did this, but out of all the teachers I had throughout the years, he was certainly the one that did it the most. Punish the kid who is actually disrupting the class, the one that is actually causing trouble. This isn't fucking rocket science, and you may say, well, the teacher may be doing this because it's a tactic to ensure that in the future they won't disrupt the class anymore. Well, if that was the case, it certainly did not work. The same kids always goofed off, always acted like dumbasses, always disrupted the class, no matter how many times the whole class was assigned an essay as a consequence of their own actions. All this does is punish the kids who did nothing wrong, the kids who were doing everything perfectly right, sitting there, doing their work, copying notes, not saying a word, not disrupting the class, and yet they still get punished because some other kid decided to do the complete opposite of all of that. At that point, what is even the point in behaving in classes ran by teachers who do this, because you're still going to get punished for behaving perfectly fine, so why not misbehave? It only gives students less of an incentive to behave in class because they're not given the same courtesy that they give their teachers. I was never once thanked or praised for behaving well by that teacher, nor was anyone else who behaved well in his classes, which were a majority of the fucking students. But I sure as hell wrote a whole bunch of essays as a result of like one or two students being dumbasses deciding to disrupt the class. You should behave well regardless of whether or not the favor is returned. I know, but still. I behaved well in all of this guy's classes. I never once caused any trouble for him, and yet I still got punished. It just felt like a complete kick in the nuts. You gotta admit, that's at least a little unfair. Right before quarantine last year, I had a professor that made damn sure that people's cell phones didn't go off in class because she hated that a lot. And what was her tactic? Well, the student whose cell phone went off in class would either have to write an essay or embarrass themselves in front of the class by either rapping or singing, and this punishment only applied to them and no one else in the class. This was perfectly fine with me because I don't like my phone making any noise anyway. I always have it on vibrate, so I wasn't in any danger of this ever happening to me. I was never once punished because some other student forgot to put their phone on silent. That is how you run a class. If one student is not following the fucking rules, then you punish that student and no one else. Meanwhile, in one of the classes ran by that teacher I hate, one of the students was texting on their phone, and the teacher repeatedly told them to not use their phone during class. They didn't listen, they didn't give a fuck, and then, as a result of them not caring at all, we all get assigned an essay. All because one student was using their phone and they were not supposed to, and completely disregarding the teacher's orders. What fucking bullshit. I am so glad that these days are behind me now, but it still evokes emotion out of me because of all those wasted hours of writing essays that I shouldn't even have written because I was doing nothing wrong. And same goes to all the students who are behaving perfectly fine in those classes. Anyway, fuck that teacher and fuck any other teacher who operates this way, and to any viewer watching this who may be currently dealing with a teacher who punishes the whole class as a consequence of one student's shitty behavior and actions, my deepest sympathies. Trust me, you will be free sometime soon. That's all I have to say. Bye-bye.